we recorded it like way back in the beginning of April. It was like shortly after Adepticon,
Yeah.
and it was kind of the oh, should we just use
Recap.
that for like a middle ground episode, like partway through the month, and then it became very clear it's like, oh, we are all very busy. We should probably make that our episode for the month.
Yeah.
and and then this month is equally as busy, if not more so.
Dude, the
Uh,
spring has just been kind of crazy, but my schedule is like chilling out, which is nice. So like I'm ready
nice.
to play some games, man. I've been getting a little bit of gaming in, but I haven't done a lot of war gaming, man. I'm getting ready though.
Yeah, same here. And so, with that, as we get ready for some more gaming, we want to welcome everybody to Deadzone the podcast. I'm Bryan.
Woo! And I'm Scott.
Welcome to the Deadzone podcast. Deadzone is the sci-fi tabletop.
Yeah, here we are in episode 100 and I think 68. Now I gotta
That's what
go
it says in
check
the
because that
corner. I feel like it's actually always 168, and it
it's
needs to be
probably
changed.
169. It's let me see here. Deadzone podcast. What episode are we on? Maybe I'll edit this out. Who knows? I did 167 was the recap with Rick. So it is
Okay, so
168.
168. Let's go.
So I need to update my show notes.
All good,
Had
all
it wrong
good.
in my show notes.
So
My
I know
computer is struggling already.
you
Oh,
had a particular idea for this episode.
yeah. We've got, we'll cover a little bit of the news really briefly because most of it's Halo centric, and there's a lot of great Halo podcasts out there now for Halo Flashpoint. So definitely go and check out those. But yeah, so we'll cover some of the latest news, and then I had kind of an idea for like a topic that we could talk about this month that I think will be a really interesting idea for a lot of our listeners who have played Dead Zone a whole lot. Maybe it's starting to feel a little samey, but you don't have time to commit to like a big, maybe say, campaign. Uh, but there's I think some little ways that you can get a little bit of that more unique experience out of Dead Zone without maybe the big commitments. As I think both of us can attest to, like getting together and play like games every week or multiple days a week, and this is just a
It's a
little
challenge
intense right
these
now.
days.
So
Yeah.
but there's some ways around it, and I think we'll talk about that. So to start, then I'm gonna start with some news because I keep forgetting to include the vault in the episode. And sometimes that's just the timing of it, where we record either sometimes right before or just maybe right after the vault preview has been released for the next month. Um, and so we kind of have 2 months that we can make up for with this one. Is that in June, or sorry, in May, they had an undead kind of pack rolling around that
Woo!
was pretty sweet, and includes like some alternate arms for some like stage 3 ghouls, including some like really torn up and beaten up like riot trooper shields. So the carrying that GCPS aesthetic over some unique backpacks and heads and guns and other weapons. And then obviously there's two little ghouls riding on mono wheels. That was pretty
I love
cool.
those. Yeah, that's pretty
So
awesome.
any Plague fans out there, if you haven't yet, hop on and see if you can get your hands on the May 2025 pack of the Out of the Vault. But we also were in luck in that we're recording after the June one has been posted, and we have an official Reb sighting.
Look at
That's
that.
right. Woo, go Rebs.
We've
We
made
have
it. We've made it.
we have the Hundrin Bounty Hunter is officially up in the vault. Now this is a classic Rebs mercenary that's been in the game for quite a while as a metal mini, and so this is the first digital treatment. Actually, there might have been I think there might have been another an older Rin model from Out of the Star Saga set, but this is like the OG version of Rin, the Hund bounty hunter in particular.
And
So his
now
name is
3D
Hund.
printable.
His race is Rin.
Those
And
dang alien
and it's
names,
really
man.
cool. He's got a combo where you can do a lawn rifle and like a pair of pistols that are Rins have 4 arms and for viewers at home. And so he's got a set where it's got twin knives in one set of hands and twin pistols in the other, or he can
Sweet.
swap out the knives for a sniper rifle. So that's a really cool mini and a fun character. So it's great to see him getting this kind of new digital upgrade. Another one that's getting a digital upgrade is another kind of old metal model out of the GCPS, which was the Major Shard. Lauren Shard is getting a 3D sculpt for that character. This is like a GCPS major model, which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, they don't have many models to represent the major in the GCPS army anymore.
There's just the one
There
guy
was
with the cape, right? That's it.
there was the one guy with the long coat and the sword and the
Right.
cigar, and then there was Lieutenant Major Lauren Shard here, and Shard was a model that you could get out of the through Mantic points, and had like kind of a limited run, but we're getting the digital treatments on that. Additionally, there's some other goodies out there. There's the Forge Father Valkyr bikes in here. So the full models with the Brocker boys riding on some motorcycles with some guns on the front. Oh, it was very cool. Really neat model.
Very, very cool.
I've got a pair, but I don't have them put together. My Forge Fathers are one of the ones that I have a very large collection of that I haven't assembled yet.
It happens, man. It happens.
Yeah. And then
Do
they
you have
have
one of those tanks?
not on I have one of the tanks. But I haven't I've assembled it, but I haven't painted it yet. And I magnetized the turret, so it's a really cool model. And that's why I got it. But I'm slow to actually get it on the table.
I was thinking about taking some of those tanks and turning them into Marauder looted tanks. See if that
That
I don't
could be
know.
fun.
It just seems like that's a cool project that's like in the back of my head.
Making Marauders have looted like anything, I think, is a fun time.
Yeah.
Considering that's the a big part of what they do. But we also have some Veerman Creeper upgrade kits, so little arms and alternate faces for some of the Veerman players. And lastly, there's some of the terrain crates, some of the more kind of alien fauna sculpts are now available. So that's going to be coming out in June here, right around the corner. So again, the quality that the like content you're getting out of the vault like more than pays for itself in the long term, and we highly recommend it. It's been a great service that Mantic's provided, and we can see them now kind of taking that step of translating old model ranges that they had into 3D sculpts so that they can either sell them with their own resin themselves, or in this case, just kind of release it to their fans digitally. So that's really cool. I know, like some of the Kings of War, there's some Earth Elementals that were old metal minis, and now they're getting the same kind of digital treatment. So that's really cool to see Mantic continuing to push forward on that front.
Yeah, plus it just gives
And,
the ability for you to try new things out, different kinds of armies. If you could
Oh,
just
yeah.
print them, that makes it easier.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Other quick news bits. As I mentioned, there's been a whole bunch of stuff coming out for Halo Flashpoint. There's including like a big push and release for the Banished, including Brutes, which gotta say that the models look fantastic. I know we touched on this a bit in our last episode with Rick, so won't delve too much into that there. But I will say, because I don't think we mentioned it, is that the Halo Flashpoint, like on the website, Mantic has started up an app to support that game. I think it's currently in beta, but they
Nice.
allow registration for free, and are doing things like global rankings and events list, and force building and rule sets and everything. So if you're interested in playing that game, definitely hop on that app. It's haloflashpoint.manticgames.com/the-app. And I'll include a link in the show notes, and I'm gonna make a note to copy that myself. uh Anywho, as a last little bit of news before we get kind of into our fun topic of the day, do want to touch on, as the time that this episode drops, it'll probably be maybe a little too late, but there will be some U.S. price changes in reflection of the latest tariff adjustment going on in the United States. Mantic has been doing their best and to help mitigate and manage these types of price adjustments. But it's kind of the reality of the situation. Halo Flashpoint itself is getting a little bit more of a hike because that is produced in China. So there's an additional element there. Mantic has put up a big post regarding it. They've been very transparent about how they've been handling the situation and kind of what it means. So just as a heads up, it is something, sadly, that's going to impact our hobby. We absolutely love these games. It's a shame that this is happening at the same time. But it's just kind of the reality of the day, the here and now. So I do appreciate that Mantic has been upfront and has like I said, by the time this episode comes out, it might have missed the window, but they did kind of set a date time for when the price changes will come into effect to give people a chance to maybe get any last minute order or pre-orders in that they would try to honor. So that's something that is likely going to continue to be an evolving situation. So we'll try to keep you posted on those changes, as well as otherwise. I definitely recommend subscribing to Mantic's social media. That's where they tend to post a lot of the stuff, and that then subsequently gets posted on their site. So all that sad, dull news to move us on to the new topic that I wanted to chat about. So this kind of came to me where we had in Dreadball, with the resurgence of that, we've had a chance to look back at the last rollout of Dreadball, which included some really cool ideas, including some more themed pitches to play the game in, as well as kind of historical matches is what they called them, which was preset that basically had gone through a league, which and those unfamiliar Dreadball, like you would play in a league and your players would gain experience as they do things on the in the pitch, and with that they could rank up, they could gain new abilities, they could also get injured, which could have lasting effects going forward. And so it's something where I thought was really great, where doing a league can be a really big commitment to uh, get that level of that many games in, so your players are all leveled up and everything like that. And it always stinks then, like when one of your guys dies and you have to get somebody to replace him. So like it's a big commitment, and there's a little bit of risk and reward there. But it does make for a really unique team by the end of a league session, where like you've got some really veteran and grizzled players out on the pitch doing their best, and it makes for a more unique game experience than you would just kind of vanilla Dreadball. All that to say, I like playing Deadzone as well. And so as part of that, I was like, okay, Mantic had put out their kind of vault-based teams, their strike teams, which I forget if they actually like landed on a name for what those were. They reminded me of like the nuts and bolts strike team as an example. And they're completely pre-built, they're named characters and have some weird quirks and everything like that. But they're very specific, and they have like extra abilities and changes that make them a bit more unique than what I was kind of looking at. Is I want to have that experience of someone who's played through a Deadzone campaign, but maybe that doesn't have the time commitment to go and do that. So what I kind of had proposed to Scott and a couple others ran this by is, how about this? Like you could, for fun, like one-off games, you get together with your opponent and you say, okay, let's build 150 point lists, but let's make them. My working title for them never got past a working title, which I was calling the Veteran Strike Teams. So what that is basically everyone in your list gets one rank in out of the campaign rules. And I'll go over that in a second. And then half of them have an injury, a permanent injury that persists. And I'll go into that stuff real quick here. So basically when you're playing through a campaign, Mantic really abbreviated it in the 3rd edition. I think for in good ways and sometimes in others that there's kind of pros and cons all around. But basically is like if the model played and survived a match, they would have the potential for gaining a rank. And you usually have a huge backlog of models to pick from for your list. So you kind of create this giant roster, and then for individual missions, you pick out a small subset of them. In this case, I was like, let's just give everybody basically one upgrade, and then half of them receive one downgrade of some kind. And it was kind of neat to do, and it comes out with some really kind of fun, quirky characters in really brief ways. So I know I'm doing a lot of the talking. What I'm planning to do is I'll go through my list that I put together for this, and then we'll do it live with Scott's list and go through creating upgrades and picking out injuries and stuff like that. So So I had a 150 point Rebs list, as you can imagine, which is kind of one of my typical ones. I made some adjustments to it than I think some of the lists a lot of people see me play. But I did go with I start with a human rebel cell leader. Now the advantage of the rebel cell leader is you do get the combat team training out of the gate, which is an ability that lets you reroll command dice even if you lost more than 50% of your team. And so with that, the upgrades that you have available to you come in a variety of flavors. You can get a stat upgrade, which is a +1 to range, +1 to fight, or +1 to survive. You can only take that once per model. Like if you were doing a campaign, you can get more ranks, but you can only take the stat upgrade once, and nothing can be improved beyond a 3-up. You can take veteran dice, which is basically an extra dice that you can use once per battle for that model in particular, to be used on a shoot, survive, or a fight test. And then there's also a keyword upgrade that you can get. Now the keyword upgrade is broken down by the type of unit, and I'll go through those real quick. Leaders, for example, can take combat team training, tactician +1, or stealthy as an option. Those are like leader only upgrades that can be taken. Specialists or leaders can take dismantle, engineer, medic, or scout. And the little caveat is that you can only take engineer or medic. You can't double up on that one.
You can't take both?
Interesting. Can't take both, which is
Okay.
kind of a weird like rule to me. It doesn't seem like it has much impact if you had both. But I digress. Troops, specialists, or leaders can also have the option of evade, frenzy +1, resilient +1, weight of fire +1. And then and those +1s stack on any existing upgrades, or like base frenzy or weight of fire. And then lastly, support can gain knockback, resilient +1, smash +1, or solid. Now, most things with support are probably going to be solid to begin with, since most of them wind up being vehicles. But there are a handful out there that are more organic-y, that
Squishy,
pinning
if
can
you will.
really hinder their progress. So something like solid can be pretty devastating. It can really change up your opponent's strategy when fighting them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, what I think is cool about
Oh,
go ahead.
go ahead.
I want to say what's cool about what you're trying to do here is like okay, here's the recap of like these rules, but this is a way you can dive into this content without committing to like a full-time thing. That's something that I'm kind of looking forward to be honest.
Exactly.
And then looking at these options too, it makes me wonder what I'm going to choose.
Yeah, and that's like the thing I really like about it is like we have these rules are available in the core rule set, and they're relatively straightforward and didn't really have to do no real tweaking for this activity. But I thought it'd be really fun. Originally, I had considered just doing like half of the list getting an upgrade and then like a quarter of them having injuries. But ultimately, I think it's more fun to give everybody an upgrade and then give half of them problems that they have to deal with. The injuries in particular, I will say I did kind of limit it to the permanent injury ones, which were basically a -1 stat impact for ranged, melee, or survive. There are some other like you could do this where you roll. There's a table where you can roll for injuries on, but for the purpose of this activity, like we're talking about the stuff that lasts, right? The permanent injuries are the only ones that we care about. So yeah. So with that, what I've got, just to kind of go through my list real quick. This is about a 150 point list. Is I've got a human rebel cell leader, and I gave them the tactician bonus for a leader, which gives them tactician 3.
That's nice.
Yeah. So I'd be rolling at least 6 command dice at the beginning of every turn. Rebs really, I think, maybe more so than some others, like kind of rely on their command dice to kind of help them overcome and triumph. So giving the tactician bonus, I think, goes a really long way
Absolutely.
for the leader there. And then I've got a Rebel Sorak, just the one with the blaster. And for the upgrade on this guy, I gave him resilience +1, so he gets to reroll on his survive tests. But he also was injured along the way, and so he's got a -1 to his melee. So his stats go to shoots on 5s, fights on 6s, survives on 6s, but with resilient 1.
Okay.
So already kind of feeling like it gives these guys a little flavor when they actually have the injuries along with it, right? Like,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
this guy, he's a hardy dude, but he's got kind of a gimpy extra hand that he uses. So he's not as good at punching things, but he can survive.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. He's a tough boy.
And he's a tough boy. Next up, I've got a pair of rebel troopers, and this is where, like I said, it kind of gives these guys a little extra flavor. I've got one of them I gave the shoot upgrade to, so he shoots on 4s. He got a little bit better at shooting, but he's at the -1 to melee. So he's a crack shot, but if he gets up close, he's toast, because his stats are now 4 on range, 7 on fight, and 6 on survive. The other rebel trooper I've got kind of had another little path that this could take. I gave him a +1 on melee, so he fights on 5s now, but he's got a -1 to survive. So he's a little bit tougher when he can deal out some more damage. But boy, is he a glass cannon! He's going to drop the first chance he gets shot at.
Absolutely.
Next, I had one of my Rebel Yindage. Mostly vanilla. The upgrade I gave this guy was Evade. So Yindage already come with Agile, Frenzy 1, Scout. I thought Evade, this is actually something you see in kind of Halo Flashpoint, is Evade with a melee kind of centric loadout for a mini, fighting on 5s with Frenzy 1, giving them Evade and Scout out of the gate. Like, this guy can get real close in melee real quickly.
Yeah, he can zip around wherever he wants.
So just a fun guy, and or I can have him like evade back into cover, right? Because ultimately, if he's evading, he's likely taking some damage because he survives on 6s as it is. He's probably only got 1 hit point left.
He's gonna take 1 and be
anyway,
done.
next Yep. I got a Sphere Hunter. I gave this guy a +1 on melee, so he'd be fighting on 4s, and he's got Frenzy 1 built into his melee, so that's awesome. But then I did give him a -1 to survive, so it gives him a shoot of 5, fighting on 4s, surviving on 6s. So just kind of thinking this guy, he hasn't adapted to non-aquatic climates as well, and so he's got a little like asthma going on. It just makes him a little squishier.
Asthma gills.
Yeah, he's got asthma gills.
Hey, it's a tough life.
Here's another one. I feel like I'm one of the few folks that likes to take survey drones in a list, in part because they take up a specialist slot.
Yeah.
But they don't have a range or a fight stat, so I kind of ruled it that I can't decrease that anymore. So I gave him, because he's a specialist, I give him medic. So this guy goes and serves as like a support unit for all of my other units. Gives them
I like it.
resilient 1 for being in the cube with him. He can heal folks. Um, survey drones have built-in agile construct, energy shield 2, evade, hacker. Like they come pretty stacked. But I did give this guy an injury along with it. As I said, his survive wasn't as good. He survives on 5s instead of 4s, which is still really good. Surviving on 5s with energy shield 2 and resilient 1 from the medic, I like his odds, right? Like he's gonna do pretty well. But
Yeah,
still, it gives it a little flavor.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Your team's actually completely different now. And I've played against
Right?
this list, I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm
I
pretty
think
sure it's the
so.
list that I played against. And now it's a different kind of list.
I've swapped some folks around, but yeah, this is a pretty typical Bryan Rebs list here. Next up, I got my Grogan. Here is one that I actually changed up a little bit as part of this exercise. I usually like to take the Grogans with the heavy machine gun because I like the pinning and I like the weight of fire. But I have found in the past this list really is lacking armor piercing. And so I actually went with the Grogan with the Desolator cannon, which is AP3, range 8.
Nice. Okay.
So they come with resilient 1s out of the gate, shooting on 5s, fighting on 5s, surviving on 4s. And so I gave this guy the upgrade of weight of fire. So he's got weight of fire 1 with his armor piercing 3 gun, shooting on 5s with weight of fire 1. I'm gonna be taking down some big names here, I think, with this guy in the future.
No, I think so. It's kind of a scary weapon, actually.
Mm-hmm. Now the Rebel Engineer was kind of my next one. This character I also had like 3 points to spare, so I gave him a smoke grenade because they don't have a lot for range, and it's like, okay, you need to get close, you need some cover to get there. But the Rebel Engineer comes with Engineer and Hacker, and then also has a melee weapon for Companion and Frenzy 1, which is not bad. This is a fairly melee centric character, if a little squishy. And I thought it was very thematic to give the Rebel Engineer Dismantle as part of it, which, and of course I don't have the rule in front of me, but gives them some bonuses when taking on constructs. I forget if it's extra dice like Smash or if it's I don't think.
Like a bonus to
The
the
only
roll.
dismantles I know are on Forge Father teams, so I don't have it in front of me. But yeah, that's the idea. And then my Rebel Sniper, the sniper shoots on 5s, fights on 6s, survives on 6s, has stealthy, and I thought, you know what? Let's give my sniper Scout.
Yeah,
Let's let them get into position right away, and so I can start doing some damage right out of the gate. And the last model I had was Teraton Shock Trooper. This one I've thrown the Defender Shield on to give a little extra armor boost, as well as protecting friendlies in the same cube. And the Teraton Shock Trooper, like, it is the smaller of the Teratons, so it doesn't have as much size to bring with it, but it does still have teleport like the other one. Has a range 4 AP1 arc launcher. Its mace, its melee weapon, has smash 1, and I'm like, every time I go to use this guy, I'm like, you know what would be really great? Frenzy on this guy. So I gave him Frenzy 1. So Frenzy 1 and Smash 1, 4 dice on 5s with Frenzy. This guy's going to be doing some extra damage. Combine that with my Sorek blasting people off balance, and a buddy with like the survey drone floating in and giving a little extra protection. that's kind of the idea with this list. So so yeah, it's just kind of a fun little activity here,
Yeah, it's
and
neat.
this doesn't change the points value or anything like that of for victory points or points of the model. So you're still playing 150 points, and so to be fair, you want to make sure your opponent is playing the same. But in my case, I had that list comes with 11 models total, and so half of that, kind of rounded down, is how I determined the injuries. So I had 5 injuries to account for on my list. So yeah, that's
I love it.
my Rebs list that's got a little flavor to it. My veteran
Yeah.
strike team.
So Brian, you mentioned you had a
Yeah.
guy that he's good against constructs now, right?
Yeah.
Well, that kind of worries me because I'm an Asterian player, so I have nothing but constructs all day in my list. Except I have one Kalishi, so luckily I have one organic character. So, do you want me to go through making
There you go.
mine? Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah. Yeah. If you so we'll go through. Do we want to go one character at a time? So I will say, like, I did cherry pick, like, where the injuries were allocated and which upgrades you get. Normally, like, the injuries you roll for, but you can, like, pick the upgrades. So I just kind of went. I tried to kind of divvy them up so it wasn't all of us get shoot +1.
Right.
That's one way to do it. Stack the deck, but I like to mix it up. Give us something unique.
Blend it up a bit, for sure.
Yeah.
So how should we determine injuries? Should I roll D100 and see if they get hurt?
So I'll leave that up to you. Like I said, I actually picked
How many should I pick?
which guy,
Half of
like,
them, you
as
said?
it was. What was that? Sorry.
You want me to pick half of them to be hurt?
Yeah. So half of them have some kind of injury. It'll be a -1 to their shoot, their fight, or their survive.
Okay. But then
And
everybody's upgrading?
but everybody's upgrading. Everyone gets one upgrade.
Okay, very cool. So
Yeah.
I'll go through my base list first, okay? So
Sure.
I'm running a marionette list. So I have a marionette prime with AP ammo. I got a Kalishi with an extra energy shield 4 to be specific. It's very nice. I have a total of 5 marionettes, 2 with grenade launchers, 2 with ammo, and 1 with a sniper and AP ammo. I have a
Nice.
cloaking device support drone, which I really like. I'm a big fan of that thing. And I have a Cypher with a force rifle. That way I can knock people
Nice.
away, And so
Mhm.
I actually have a D8 here. I was digging one up when you were going through your list. And so
Yeah.
I actually thought it would be kind of fun if I rolled to see what kind of injuries they got.
Yeah, absolutely.
You think
So,
that'd be cool?
what we can do for that? So, the table how it works is normally you basically would roll if you got 2, 3, or 2 or 3 on an 8-sided dice. Like, is where you get the permanent injury. If you roll the 1, the guy would be dead.
Right.
We're not doing that as part of this exercise. So I think what we can do is, if you'd like to do it this way, you could do it where 2 through 7, if I'm doing my math right, 2 through 7 could be one of the injuries. So, like, 2 and 3 would be a ranged injury. 4 and 5 would be the melee injury, and then 6 and 7 could be the survive injury, and then 1 or 8 they could walk free.
Okay, I like that. Okay. So I guess
or
I
you
got to
could do it
determine.
smarter and just do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then anything above it is good. That makes
We can
more
do it that way
sense in my
too,
head.
whatever. But
Yeah, let's do that.
I have a total of 1, 2, what I say, 7. I have 9 characters total. So I'll just say,
Okay.
if we're
So you
doing
need
half
4.
of them,
Yep.
I'm
Rounded
gonna
down.
just say all my rounded down. Okay, so I'm just gonna say 4
Yeah.
of my marionettes, the ones without the sniper. Those 4 are the ones that
Okay.
are getting hurt. Okay, just because I'm gonna put them up front anyway because they're disposable. They're marionettes, right? So
Sounds
what I
good.
would do for the marionette prime, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, having that tactician +1 would be awesome. I think I would just have to take
It
that.
is a nice upgrade.
Yeah,
Because that would
it's
give
an amazing
your
upgrade.
your prime tac 2. Um,
Yeah,
and I
he'd be
mean like
tac 2.
with
And then
their like linked ability where you perform a shoot action, a second marionette shoot too. Like the odds of you getting a lot more shoot actions out of
is very
your
nice.
characters, I think that tactician really pays back in dividends in this
Yeah,
game.
no,
That's
tactician's for sure the thing you need to get. And then I think I would just boost the range, make him like a cipher. My marionette prime would be shooting on 3 up. That'd be pretty awesome.
So you kind of pick one or the other. You kind of get one upgrade.
Oh,
You
you
can
don't
either
do
do a
both.
stat
Got it.
or you do a keyword.
Oh, I'm definitely doing a tactician for sure. If I had to
Gotcha.
choose. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I got confused with that.
No, you're good. Yeah, so you get one upgrade. So you'll go with Tactician. So you'll have a Marionette Prime with Tactician 2. Nice.
Yeah, that's what I would do. And then my Kalishi, I would just bring it down to survival 4 up. I just feel like with my energy shield 4 and survival 4, my Kalishi is just not going to go down. The Kalishi can already take care of whatever it wants in close combat.
So I will
feel
say like the injury makes it harder to do. So like a Kalishi's survive stat, it is kind of flipped mathematically, right? Because it shows 5 up. That's what you need. So with it being an injury, that would become a 6 up.
Oh, I was thinking an upgrade here though.
Oh, the upgrade. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but that's good. No, it's good to know that that you have that on the top of your head. But yeah, I would upgrade the Kalishi. And then
Okay.
now if all 4 of these marionettes were to be injured,
Where you're injured.
I don't want to mess around at all. I mean, I would just make all their fights go down, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to fight with them anyway.
I think that's fair. Otherwise, like I said, I kind of like to spread around the types of injuries, but it totally works.
Yeah, but I'm thinking lore-wise,
fight
the
on 6s,
marionettes, as long as their
5.
gun's working, they're good to go.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So,
like I feel like with your guys, they're jumping around, hiding behind walls and stuff, where the marionettes are just staying in place, just shooting. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm. So it sounds like all of your marionettes come with one arm. They're all defective, and they only have one arm. So
they're
not very good at melee.
And they're only programmed to hunt people with gill's asthma.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's what
that
they
makes
do.
sense.
Yeah, I thought so. If I were to mix it up a little bit, I would definitely touch survive prior to touching range. But I can upgrade all these guys, right?
Yes, they all get an upgrade too.
So I almost feel like I feel like I would upgrade all of them to have range. So they actually remove one arm to double load the other for the gun, because their gun is their hand, right? So they just fire that.
Yeah. So
like
I will say, just as a reminder, like the keywords that you could take for a troop would be evade, frenzy 1, resilient 1, or way to fire 1. Those are options instead of stat boost, if you'd like to use any of those.
Way to fire might actually be the play here for this situation, because they're all rolling 1 die anyway. Being able to re-roll that, or 1 attack. I mean, Deadzone 3 dice, but You know, way to
You've been
fire.
playing a lot of Firefight.
Yeah, I have been. Well, I was thinking like they only get one clear shot, and way to fire. Actually, I think that might be better than range. But I don't know. Having range 4 up would be good. Maybe I would do it like this. The grenade launchers, I'll have them be at way to fire. And then the no rifles would be a range +1. So that means both my marionettes are now range 4. My other 2 marionettes with grenade launchers have way to fire 1. Or does that not make any sense with the indirect?
I was actually just kind of looking at that. Fire model has, sorry, no other dice can be added or rerolls of any kind made. So you might not put way to fire on your indirect guy.
Well, you know,
Might
with
not
the
work
grenade launchers,
the
maybe
way
I
you
just
intend.
make them resilient, make them tougher because I want that grenade launcher just to launch around the map.
There you go. He's got a
Yeah.
little extra armor plating on him.
Yeah, just like, you know, because he's used to getting exploded. And then that sniper rifle all day, I would I'll do range. Because he's got the AP ammo and all that. I'm gonna take a range up on that for sure.
Nice.
The
Very
support drone, since he's not gonna be injured, I like the idea of
So you were taking the cloaking one, right? So
yeah, I had the cloaking one.
That one's a troop. So
Yeah, I
they
was
could
gonna say,
take
I don't think he's a
evade,
support.
frenzy, resilience, or way to fire.
I would do evade just in case he gets shot, just move him around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can't really attack, so I gotta do it that way.
Mm-hmm. No, it's like if you think about it, like, yeah, he survives getting shot at and dodges away. You can now protect another cube of models with the cloaking device. So
Pretty sweet.
it's not a bad move.
Yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Then lastly, with my Cypher, now he's got that weird explosive blast, so I don't even think I need to upgrade his range or his way to fire. I think I would give him, if I had to, I probably would just give him resilient as well. Or honestly, evade might be nice too. I'm going to go with evade just to keep it consistent so the Cypher and the support drone can hang out like that.
Nice. So sounds like you've got some very hardy Asterians going into this.
Right.
Some pretty lethal ones and some very like survivable ones.
Yeah, they're single armed and armored plated. And I realized I didn't end up rolling, but that's okay.
That's all right.
It works out. It works out for this.
It works out.
Well,
it speeds things along.
I think next time we play this, we should do this campaign rule. I don't know why we don't.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what we should do. The next time we get together, we'll play this and we will report back on how it went. So
yeah,
if we'll kind of post up these quote unquote rules on creating your very own veteran lists. If you guys decide you want to play this mode too, feel free to share. Post up on Facebook and pin us or tag us and let us know that that you tried it out and if it was fun or if it was incredibly unbalanced. I fully recognize that like that. It's part of the fun of the campaign style is the in a real campaign there'll be a little bit level of attrition where you probably won't have a fully upgraded list like that, or there might be kind of a skew where there's some characters are more upgraded than others. But it does create kind of unique challenges that I think are fun. I think the biggest skew would be the model count is where like some force lists, even at 150 points, will have, kind of like us, almost a dozen models versus like maybe Forge Fathers, which are a very elite list. They're very, very pricey and costly. They might not have quite as many advantages in that respect, but they should have fewer disadvantages hopefully with
Right.
that
It'll
impact.
balance out. Plus,
Yeah.
then you have a story to tell, though. That's what you want.
Exactly. Like we were saying, I was just, in the act of putting these together, we're already thinking, okay, why did they have a -1 to all their melee? Oh, they only got one arm. You know,
How it is.
he's got gill asthma.
Yeah. Gill asthma is rough,
So,
man. Rough.
Yeah, gill asthma is rough. All right, so with that, we're going to be moving on to the hobby table section of the show. Now, this section of the show is brought to you by Corvus Games Terrain. They make 3D printed files for they're perfect and cubed up for all sorts of games, especially Deadzone. There's a great set of lines now that he's made in the Deadzone vein. He's got a new Kickstarter coming up that is more of kind of that kind of gothic 40K esque theme. But looking at it, I haven't printed off any myself yet, but they look to be pretty much within the same kind of scale and size that the rest of this line has been. So, which means perfect for Deadzone. So we also have a coupon code, DZ Podcast 15. That's 15. You use that at checkout, and you get a little discount with your order, and just to let them know that Deadzone the podcast sent you. Also, the hobby table section is also brought to you by Acid House Terrain. Some really fantastic foldable cardboard terrain that really brings your tabletop to life, whether you're playing firefights or I'm going to say firefight again because they really do bring up the firefight boards alive. But also there's a handful that do fit well with the Deadzone scale. So that's definitely check those guys out. They make some really awesome stuff. All right. And so I know I've been doing a whole lot of talking over the course of the show. So I want to throw it to Scott. Hey, what have you been doing on the hobby side?
Well, I packed up my little 10mm project. I realized that there's other 10mm stuff I'd rather be painting. So I put those elves away, and I actually have been working on tiles for a campaign. So I bought these little wood tiles. I think you might be able to see some texture on it. I don't know if you can see that, Brian, but I've been working on trying to figure out how to make a cool map with these for a campaign for any war game that I would want to play, whether it's on a planet or a fantasy world or something like that. I just thought it would be cool. So that's what I've been working on, and it's easy. I don't have to I just slap a bunch of stuff on it and it looks good. So
very cool. Yeah, for my own part on the hobby table, I actually the big advent here is that I finally got myself a new 3D printer,
nice.
An FDM printer. So my old Voxelab Aquila is just kind of became a little bit too much of a headache to maintain. Like it just takes a lot of time to maintain and manage that printer, which where it was located in my house, like it's like I have to get up and go down to the basement to check on how it's doing and everything like that. And you've fans of the show will have heard many tales of woe of getting 3 good prints out of it and then it's out for a month or two before I can take the time to fix it. So I went looking for one, one that's auto leveled is like key thing number one for me. I was always having to manually level my old printer, and so that was definitely a requirement for me. I also wanted one that had a bigger build plate. Now a lot of them are pretty typical in like I think it's like 200mm range, or right around there. I've got like lots of terrain projects and stuff, and I'm like, I always need more room. And so I'm like either having to slice up models or do extra work to get the things I want. And so I was like, okay, I need a bigger build plate. Um,
And you got it.
then lastly is like any kind of like Wi-Fi connectivity would be really nice to have.
Yeah, most definitely.
And so I ultimately I did a whole lot of shopping around, and I landed on, I think it was the Ender 3 V3 Plus. This thing is a beast. It's got over, I think it's a 300 millimeter print bed, which is just shy of a foot, like a foot square. So it's a very big build space that it has available in comparison to a lot of the other ones. The Plus is kind of that part of it. It's also incredibly fast. Like this thing, like something that would take my old printer like a full 8 hours to do, this could do in like 4.5. Like it can cut the
Nice.
time down that fast.
That's amazing.
I will say with that, there's kind of the caveat is like this thing like moves, and so it shakes the table that it's on.
Straight
And the
up.
table is not light, like, and there's plenty of stuff on it. So this would like shake a little, you know, folding card table like apart.
You need an actual
It moves
table,
so
man.
much. Yeah, you need like an actual table for this thing to sit on. But with that, it's you know, it's a Creality um, printer, so it has you can use the mobile app to connect to it. And so I also got myself a little camera to go along, and so I can watch like from my phone now. I can send it files to print remotely. I don't have to go up and put a little SD card in it. I can watch
Modern
the print's
technology.
progress on with my phone via the camera, and like I had to do one, so I was out and about. I'd go to check on it. And it's like, oh, you know, it had a mix up. It's kind of printing out spaghetti. I'm not going to be home for another 6 hours. I hit stop, and I saved myself a whole bunch of filament and a whole bunch of headache. So definitely a really nice upgrade. And with it, I had just been churning out terrain projects that I'd had in my backlog. In
Nice.
particular, there was a set called Higher Ground out for Halo Flashpoint up on Cults 3D. Now this is a fan project that someone put together, but it looks, you know, so much like you know, those classic Halo maps that you play multiplayer on, really in that vein. And so I got the whole, he has like almost the whole Deadzone's board's worth of terrain. I've got like all of it printed out now.
Sweet.
Just have to finally had nice days, so I got a bunch of it primed as well. And so I'm just kind of going through the process of got to put some magnets on it for some of those parts, but you know, starting to get some painting done as well. So
Sweet. I might have to commission some terrain from you, man.
printing a lot of Halo. Yeah, absolutely. I think I owe Chris a whole bunch too. So I've got a backlog of MCP
Yeah.
buildings that he
I'll
wanted
get in
me to
line.
print. So
I'll get in line.
got some catching up to do. But it's such a more reliable printer that it's much more tangible now for
More
me
fun.
to kind of make those types of commitments. Yeah,
Yeah.
way more fun. And so yeah, I have had those accusations thrown at me now that I like Halo Flashpoint more than I like Deadzone, and I rebuff those accusations, and I say I do very much love Deadzone. I'm looking forward to playing Deadzone on these maps to see how well they play in our setting as well. Like one thing I will kind of say, like I notice and recognize, is like Halo Flashpoint maps mostly have terrain for elevation, but not for going under. So there's not as much overhead cover as there is like in Deadzone, where you want that because of indirect weapons,
Right.
are a little bit more common. But so that's one that I'm really curious. I need to throw some more scatter terrain on this board, but I'm really stoked to have some like really, you know, down and rich Halo themed terrain to do Halo Flashpoint in, as well as Deadzone.
Oh yeah,
So
asterisk as well as Deadzone.
yes, yes. Uh, and then the other thing is I'm um, trying to get better at making some time to do more kind of smaller painting projects. Painting historically for me has always been kind of tough to fit in to a schedule. Um, but now I'm kind of finding my wife tends to stay up late, uh, and part of kind of taking care of a little one.
It
Um,
happens, man.
and I've been staying up with her kind of in solidarity. But I'm like, you know what? And to just like spend time together where it's just the two of us. It's like, you know what? I could pull out my little mobile painting tray and just do a little bit of painting while we're just hanging out together. And I think
Chip
that'd
at it.
be a great way to make a little dent in my backlog of paint or of gray minis, and while still getting to spend some time together. So
Yeah,
that's
that's awesome.
yeah. So
Pretty epic hobby
got
table.
yeah, the I got my uh I got a Spartan set from Halo Flashpoint. So I've got the elites to paint up, and the alternate Spartans. My younger brother's coming next weekend to visit, and we love to play Halo, and so I had actually gifted him a copy of Flashpoint for his birthday, but it'll be the first time we get together in person. We're going to get to play it.
Nice.
So definitely looking forward to that, and I'm hoping I can have at least the elites painted up by then, because this
Yeah.
thing Healy are fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see him. I still haven't painted my my Halo stuff. I've only played it when it really first came out. But if we start playing again, I'll paint up my Spartans and I'll get my brother back in. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I know. We're trying to set up a more regular gaming day at Excel Hobbies, which is kind of our one of our local stores. I know you've got a new store popping up near you, um, as well
Yeah, it's like
as
40 seconds away from my house.
no kidding.
Kind of nice. I can
So
literally I can ride my bike to it from my house. It's pretty sweet.
that is nice. I'll have to swing out that way. I know it's a branch of the Upkeep games, which had a starting branch out in Howell, and they've expanded to the Ann Arbor area now in Canton. So I've great to see that store expand. I think the folks behind it are really
Yeah, they're
wonderful, and
nice.
it was it was always that sad thing. I lived in Howell during COVID when COVID first started, and that delayed their opening of the store until after I moved to Livonia. So it was
Yeah.
like, no, I wanted to have a store down the street.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
anyway,
you
I
can come out my
digress.
way, man. We can hang out in Canton.
Absolutely. And I will say, like, there's a burgeoning firefight group out in Ypsilanti, Michigan. So if you find yourself out that way, I obviously, listeners of the show, I do apologize to anyone outside the state of Michigan. We kind of have our own kind of local news for the scene as it continues to grow here, which is excellent. Um, but obviously, you're more than welcome if you ever want to have us champion or shout out a store or an event that you got coming up. Feel free to reach out to us on any of our social media platforms. More than happy to give a shout out with the note that it's on a monthly basis. So if it's something you want to shout out, make sure you do so sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
um,
Yeah.
but with that, I think that's a good wrap for this
Yeah.
episode. I think that was a fun little exercise in Deadzone, um, and I've got more crazy ideas to think up for us to keep the Deadzone dream alive.
Keep the dream. Don't let your dreams only be dreams. Keeping them alive.
Hmm. So with that, I'm just gonna say have a nice night, everybody.
And this is Dead Zone.
And yeah, that's a fun time.
That's it.
It is Deadzone,
Yeah.
the podcast with Bryan and Scott.
Loading. Now loading.
Scott and Bryan. Yeah,
That's it, man.
I've got to get
dude,
this stuff for the Michigan GT together.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked for that, man. I'm ready for that. I'm planning on going to the GT, and not sure what I'm gonna play. I might do Kings of War this year and Firefight, depending on if there's a conflict. Well, Dead Zone, there wasn't a conflict last year, was there?
So Firefight is going to be on Friday. We know that one for sure.
Oh, nice.
And then so Saturday is going to be split. I know I think Halo is going to be in the morning. I might do Dreadball in the morning then as well, and then we can do Dead Zone in the afternoon. Now I don't know if Dead Zone would start after King's Ends is the only thing. We don't have a lot of player overlap there, so
we'll have to figure out what we're gonna do.
Yeah, but we'll have more news for that as we get closer.
As we get closer.